Hello, and welcome to the Ocean News Podcast, an audio series in which we take a deeper dive into the biggest news stories and the leading headlines from the Oceanographic newsroom. I'm Rob Hutchins, community editor here at Oceanographic, and in today's episode, we are tiptoeing into the clandestine and often all too opaque world of the European Union's fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and some of the more nefarious activities that are undermining them. If it sounds like things are about to get complex, it's because they very much are. Today's story is based on a new report issued by the marine conservation organisation Oceana in Europe, in which concerns have been raised that the European ownership of fishing vessels operating under what are known as flags of convenience are undermining the EU's fight against illegal fishing. The investigation itself has identified at least 105 large-scale fishing vessels owned by EU citizens or companies that are registered in countries with weak governance over destructive and extractive fishing practices, with limited labour force protections, or with lenient and permissive tax regimes. It's according to Oceana that these arrangements expose a significant gap in enforcement, enabling these European operators to effectively sidestep the regulations put in place while continuing to profit from fishing activities that may in fact violate both international and European Union laws. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back and ask, what do we mean when we use the term flags of convenience? Flags of convenience allow the owners of fishing vessels to register their ships in countries offering lax regulatory oversight, low or even zero tax rates for non-resident investors, and a limited enforcement of labour and fisheries laws. These systems often enable the use of something referred to as shell companies, a registered business with no active operations that works only to obscure the true ownership. Oceana's report argues that such shell companies are frequently relied on by the EU nationals who own the vessels to conceal their role in illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing. By adopting such practices, not only do these entities continue to profit from fishing activities in direct violation of international and EU law, but those profits flow back into the European market itself in the form of high-risk seafood. So, what do we know about the current scale of the situation? The vessels featured and analysed in Oceana's report are flagged to no fewer than 20 jurisdictions considered to be high risk for illegal fishing. These owners are based across several EU member states, with Spanish, Portuguese and Lithuanian operators accounting for the highest numbers of EU-linked vessels flying such flags. Of particular concern are the 33 vessels flagged to countries including Panama, Belize, Senegal and Ecuador, which are authorised to export seafood directly into the EU. This creates a pathway for high-risk seafood products to enter European supply chains, despite the governance in place to end it. But if the issue of flags of convenience is a recognised one, how is such activity able to take place at all? The problem is, member states of the EU do not currently require their citizens or companies to disclose such beneficial ownership interests in foreign flagged fishing vessels. As a result, those ownership links often remain invisible to the authorities. In response to this, Oceana in Europe is calling on EU member states to tighten their transparency and enforcement measures, urging for their requirement of all citizens and companies to report any legal or financial interest in fishing vessels flagged to non-EU countries, and particularly where those flags are associated with illegal fishing. It is as Vanya Volperhurst, Oceana's Illegal Fishing and Transparency Campaign Director, says, knowing who owns and profits from fishing vessels is key to enforcing the EU's zero-tolerance policy towards illegal fishing and protecting coastal communities worldwide. If you'd like to learn more about this story or other stories related to the topic of flags of convenience or illegal, unreported or unregulated fishing, head to the Oceanographic newsroom. This has been the Ocean News Podcast. I've been Rob Hutchins. Thank you for listening.